Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk About It with Michael and Jonathan. With me, as always, is Michael.
Hey, hey.
Hi. Hey. Michael Curtis, and my name's Jonathan Green. And today we are going to be talking about dance shows. Are they good? Are they bad? How have they helped? Are they still helping the industry? And just any general thoughts that we have. So if you have any thoughts, comment, tell us what you think about what we say, and let's get started. Michael, you want to start us off?
Absolutely. I've been waiting for this topic because I have things to say. Let's talk about it. I remember coming into the industry when I was in the industry about 2002, 2003. And, obviously that show wasn't out yet. But one thing I've always thought about is one instructor told me that dance has always survived through everything, wars, depressions, it's always survived. So it's always had a following. But you're talking about like when Dancing with the Stars came out, we went mainstream. Like you talk about someone at the club being able to take dancing lessons or wanting to take dance lessons too. Now everyone wanted to take them. Like, oh, wow, I could do that. Oh my God. So does it help? It definitely helped. I mean, you started getting wedding couples, people that just want to do it as a hobby. Once again, when you go to that mainstream category, that means you're getting, it was great for everyone. Explosion. So I thought it was good. Do I think it's still good? I think there comes a point where, TV becomes more about the numbers, more about the money, and less about the quality of the show. I think we've reached that point. I mean, anything that gets people talking about dance is great, but when you start looking at the cast of characters they start putting on, like this year, I think we're season 29 at this point, which is awesome which is awesome. But now you got Carol Baskins on there. I mean, who is that? So they're bringing in people just because of shock value of like, well, they were on Netflix. Let's get them on to Dancing with the Stars. And are we vetting these people? And what is there like a thought process of how that's going to make, the dancing look? Is it about quality, which I'll pose that to you? Is it still about the quality, which is what we look at dancing and go, that we're about quality. When you come in, it's a quality, it's dancing, different goals, but it's always been that kind of stigma of it's, high class. So are we still there, or are we just shooting for anyone to be on the show to get numbers?
Well, I think you had lots of good points there. Like for me specifically, I wasn't around involved in the ballroom industry really before Dancing with the Stars started. I was a student when Dancing with the Stars, the show came on television, and I loved it as a student. And in regards to has the quality maintained, I guess it's hard for me to answer that. I've gone through such a change in standards from that point when I first started watching the show to where I am now in terms of standards of movement, quality of movement, things like that. But I do remember being excited about and like enjoying some of the routines that were put together. Now, it was only a few of them. They've always, from day one, I felt they've done a great job with the show showing kind of the versatility of the age groups that get involved in dancing, and that it doesn't matter what age you are, really, you can get involved in partner dancing whenever you'd like. So I thought that was good. It made it seem like anybody who's watching, no matter what their age, they could get involved in dance, and that's very true. So I like that. The quality of it, maybe 2 or 3 of the celebrities that they had on each year were entertaining to actually watch. And now looking back at them, I don't think I would say that. I would not be entertained enough by watching them dance. I would just be entertained by watching them be happy, like as you do when you're at a competition. Generally speaking, when I'm at a competition, I'm not looking out at the competitors on the floor thinking, wow, these guys are all good. Who's going to win this? I'm normally thinking, well, oh, that's cute. They look happy. And then also I'm giggling a little bit at the ones that don't look happy. Not that I'm judging by any means, because I'm sure I've been on the floor and been irritated with my partner or didn't look happy or something, but it's still amusing from the sidelines. It's probably more amusing because I've been through it and I can feel for that person. But yeah, the quality, I would imagine it's gone down, but I would imagine the majority of what I see in it going down is not actually a result so much of the contestants, so much as the instructors that they're using. Like originally that cast of pros that they used were legit. Like they all were either extremely busy with performing and competing themselves on a professional level, or B, they were involved in teaching people how to dance still. They still dance somewhat themselves, and they were certainly a high enough caliber to make people learn correctly and still perform in an entertaining demeanor. Not just become all about the performance and hey, because it's very easy for shows on television to do that. That's what it's ultimately designed for, is the people watching to be entertained. And when you don't have top dancers dancing, it's hard to entertain people with dance. So they're entertaining people more so, kind of like you were talking about, the shock value with who are the people that have the most followings that are going to watch that person on the show. Celebrity-wise, talking. So, I mean, yes, certainly the list of celebrities, if you look at it each year, season 1, season 2, season 3, I would imagine they've kind of gone, those celebrities have been less and less bigger celebrities. Sure, like any show, that's how it happens. It was huge at first, so everybody wanted to do it. Now the buzz for it's kind of dying out, and it's not as cool for a mainstream celebrity to go and be on Dancing with the Stars. It's almost thought of as, I would imagine, like this person can't find work, you should do Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what it
true.
Feels like.
That's true.
As time is gone.
I have heard of that. I've actually heard of that. I think it was, I forgot which reality show it was, but they were mentioning that, in like an interview, like, hey, my agent was trying to jumpstart my career. So they said, go on like Big Brother or something. It was some show, Survivor or something like that. And so they did it to, do that. So, I mean, I guess that's with everything. And like you said, this isn't taken away from the entertainment value. I used to get entertainment from watching Jerry Springer. Doesn't mean it was a quality show, but I was entertained by it, and, I laughed at the people that were on there, but, so it's entertaining. And we're talking about the elevation of dance, the continued elevation of dance. And so the question being, we're not arguing the entertainment value, and we're not arguing that, it's done a lot for dancing. The question is, has it reached that point where it's almost kind of like overexposure? When people get tired of something, it's like when it's brand new, it's like, oh my goodness, you kind of alluded to this. When it's brand new, it's like, oh, this is awesome. Now I just think we've gotten to that point where it's kind of like, yeah, Dance with the Stars. Yep, here we go. It's not the same thrill. And I may be wrong on this one, but as I watch the other shows, because this is a topic on shows, not just Dancing with the Stars. You have, so you get Dance, you have World of Dance, and those are doing a lot for dance in general, just all of them. But I noticed that the ballroom in the beginning used to be huge on, like, so you get Dance in those shows. And now it's all of a sudden, it's like, well, we may have one couple in, and they don't make it as far as they used to, because has that tipping point been passed? Where it's like, okay, your style of dance isn't as big as breakdancing now, because breakdancing is now an Olympic sport. Why did we get passed over? Or, so was it great? And have we reached that tipping point? What do you think about that?
Well, I think I would say that those, it's unfair to compare those shows to one another. Like, So You Think You Could Dance. I forget the other one that you mentioned, but the
World of Dance.
World of Dance. So I picture the dancers those are like professional dancers. Those are people who work at their craft, train every day, and work to entertain people with that, versus Dancing with the Stars, where it's really more of we have amateurs coming on, and we're going to make them do some dance moves and see how they do. So it's different in that sense. The Dancing with the Stars, like you said, is it's not just about the dance. It's very much has a Jerry Springer side of it, a reality show side of it, essentially, where it's more about following the person in their lives than it is about the dance itself. So in that aspect of things, I'd be all on board for a show that actually showcased what those true dancers are working on each day and showcasing. But to me, that I don't know how many viewers that would get. you would get all the people who appreciate dance to that degree watching it, but that's not as many people, sadly, as appreciate Jerry Springer. So, you know.
Well, you do remember we did used to have America's Ballroom Challenge, and then we did have the Ohio Star Ball used to be on PBS, which to me was huge. That's absolutely, and that was a shot for people to look and see what it was all about. You know, you're watching professionals going, wow, you know, and it got so big they even had, you know, Jasmine Guy on it, and you know, they had some celebrities doing the commentating. But yeah, I mean, I remember we did have that show, and for some reason, I don't know what the funding just didn't keep going on it, or
exactly,
you know,
it's not around now.
Yeah, not around now. So it almost.
And you're right. That might not be because of the lack of being able to find followers. That could have been because of the lack of the structure built into making it, you know, making just the watching process better. Whether it be jumping from, I remember watching America's Ballroom Challenge on PBS. Maybe it just be, you know, having a specific order of how they show the events. Although I can't really criticize it. I thought they did a great job with that and showcasing jumping from different. So it could just be that it was on PBS. You know, maybe it needed to be on a more major network like ABC. You know, but again, it could just be that, like I was saying, where do you find the followers? There aren't a whole lot of dancers, even within the dance community itself, that are truly aware and care about the finer details of dance. Most people, I believe, in the industry are involved for fun, not for the purpose of solving any problems the industry deals with, or necessarily even, sadly, not even advancing their own personal dance progress either. Not that there aren't people out there like that. Absolutely there are not. But in general, Dancing with the Stars, I feel like, is a pretty good depiction of what the ballroom world is. Yes, I would like it to be different, but I think it's kind of spot on. And in that sense, it is a bad sell because, you know, there are so many things that as much as people, I would like the ballroom competition world and just ballroom dancing world in general to be come one, come all, dance, work hard at what we do. We all value product here, overall product. It doesn't seem like that. It does feel more like a gossip reality fashion show type of thing than it does a sport. So, you know, and until it feels like a sport, you can't get the viewers that are watching football and basketball and other sports to watch it. There's too much downtime and gossip. They want to see action. They want to see activity. So, but I would love if there was a show like that. Dancing with Stars isn't it? I love So You Think You Could Dance. I mean, I think that's
I absolutely love that show. And those aren't really professionals. Professionals is a mix in there. But sure. You know, my point about the ballroom dancing, and it's not comparing the shows, it's comparing the results. So, like I said, early in these dance shows, ballroom was coveted. So they would place high. They would let more couples in. But now, like I'm saying, if you're reaching that tipping point where people are going, it's ballroom. Yeah, here comes a ballroom couple. It's almost like they're saying, well, we've already seen it. We're done with it. We're moving on to the next big dance or the next dance craze. And it's, you know, and it's never, and once again, I'm saying it's not ever a bad thing, because we're still getting, evidently people still watch dance. And the difference between Star Ball or American Ballroom Challenge, I forgot what it was called before that. Maybe it's just Ohio Star Ball on PBS. But I think what happened there was, besides funding, they couldn't relate to anybody. And I think that's where the dancing shows came in, was they saw someone they could relate to. Hey, there's Emmett Smith. I want to watch this show. Hey, there's, you know, this I want to watch this show. Right. So it got them in the door. It's like, you know, once again, I thank Dancing with the Stars for a lot of what they've done. But the topic is, have we reached that point where it's almost kind of oversaturated, it's overdone at this point, and now we're reaching for things just to stay on the air. You know, that's the question. It's not a knock on the show. It's just like, have we reached that point? And my tipping point was Carol Baskins. I was like, what does she do besides there's a Netflix show about it was actually about the guy, the Tiger King, but he's in jail right now. So
I thought like he was missing or had gone missing. Like, okay, so
no, he's in jail.
I've never seen the show, and I only am aware of Carol Baskin because we're preparing a performance, an online show at the studio, and one of the funny songs we're using in the show references Carol Baskin. So we're like trying to put things in the background of what they're talking about in the song, and I'm like, well, what is this? You know, and so I got the lowdown. You know,
you may want to check out. You might want to check out the craziness. But her husband's
everybody's
missing.
Told me to watch Tiger King, so
her husband,
at some point.
Yeah, her husband's missing. So, but yeah, I think that's the issue we face here. And, you know, so at some point I would like the topic to talk about is, you know, why did breakdancing become an Olympic sport? As much as we've changed our name, as much as we have like fought and beefed in organizations, why didn't we get that? You know, why them and that, you know?
That is definitely a good discussion.
I think that'd be a good discussion for another time. Yeah, we had to get into that. You know,
the best way you phrase it, at least from my mind, to understand what your point was in terms of like saturation, is ballroom saturated compared to other styles of dance? Like So You Think You Could Dance, the ballroom couple's not making it to the finals or whatnot. Is it because people are bored of them? I would have to study it to really give an opinion that I would stand up for. But my first thought would be, it's not anything other than ballroom's failure to get more people doing it and also improve itself. Meaning hip hop, there's so many people dancing hip hop right now who've never danced it before. They're getting interested, they're doing it, and then within weeks or months or years, we've seen those people who are able to just invest on their own at that low level grow so much and become such talented dancers. Part of that is because you only need one person. You do not need a partner to practice with you at all times. And that's not to say that to learn ballroom dancing, you need a partner. But because people don't understand the finer details of dance and how you can practice on your own, and that's just one of many things. Another factor is that for some reason there's that mental factor. They think, oh, but I need my partner. Well, you don't really, but whatever. But nonetheless, individuals are able to invest and see growth out of a dance that only requires themselves to work easier than that requires another person to work with them. So there's many, and that may seem like a simple little thing, but that is huge. Like think about how hard something is when you have to get one other person involved. I mean, something as simple as, you know, moving a table to the other side of the room. If you can carry it yourself, how much easier is it to move that table to the other side of the room than it is to get another person involved? You got to wait for them to stop what they're doing, come down, blah, blah, you know, so scheduling a thing. And then also on top of that, you got to be on the same mind track. Oh, we're turning it this way. Oh, I thought we were turning it that way. So there's so many problems that come into account when you're not just doing something on your own. And these other styles of dance, hip hop, ballet, tap, jazz, contemporary, all of these styles can be danced as an individual. You cannot do that with partner dancing. And also what that's going to create in the next tier is that it's going to create a slow learning process. Because your learning is also dependent on another, you can't grow as fast. So where someone may spend this much time in hip hop, it will get them this growth. Spending that much time in ballroom will not. It's possible. It's not to say that won't. You have to have a partner who's equal and working in and guaranteed and committed to working to whatever level it is if you want to maintain that the same way, which is so hard to find. Most people go through multiple partnerships trying to find that person. And then also because they're able to spend the time practicing on their own, they get so much better. They're more entertaining to watch. Moving with another person is so much harder than moving on your own. So figuring out where to put yourself and not having the distraction of another body is so much easier than having to do that while also connected to another body. So then people don't look good ballroom dancing for a long period of time. So you have all these casual backyard dancers who can show up and sign up for So You Think You Could Dance. Whereas you don't have that for ballroom. None of those casual backyard dancers in ballroom are good enough to put on a show. Like it requires a lot of work to get good moving with another person's body.
Well, I will say that I have to kind of backtrack here because I said that the ballroom couples, and I don't know if I want to say if this is a ballroom couple, but there was a partner couple that made the finals of World of Dance this year. It was a salsa couple.
Who does?
Absolutely killed it. I mean, but you know that wherever they like are tops, wherever they are, they're tops. I mean,
Right.
Tricks, throwing her, like it was, the partnering was just amazing. The musicality was just amazing. So, but that's mean, and I think that's the first time a salsa couple made it that far, but that's because they did things differently, which kind of leads me to my next point of when we're talking about the shows and what can we do to, like, you know, if we reach that saturated point, and how can we keep people interested in dance? That's kind of what the topic has been. Has it reached that tipping point where people are kind of like, it's ballroom, you know, I don't want to do that because
Right.
we've seen it for so long.
Another layer.
But how do we change it? The thing about hip hop is it has changed. It has evolved. The things that they do, there's hip hop, there's breakdancing, two different styles, but they're blending the two. They're innovating. Are we innovating, or do people still think of ballroom as this is my grandparents, what they used to do, you know, because that's not going to attract the younger crowd, which has never really been our demographic, is the younger, except the juniors and stuff like that. But, you know, can we innovate enough to blend styles? And that's the one thing I liked about So You Think You Could Dance, and I liked about World of Dance, is dance styles are starting to blend. If you see hip hop, now they've got like contemporary hip hop. They do elements of that.
Yeah, but see, this goes back to what I was saying a second ago. They can blend those styles because they're individual dancers. They aren't based off physics. Like our dance is based off of physics. Two bodies moving most efficiently with one another, staying in continuous movement. They don't have these rules. The hip hop is so free. You can do anything you want in hip hop. Breakdancing, in its original roots, any of these things in their original roots were very simple, but because they didn't have a competitive restriction or a restriction for competitive dancing, then they were able to just kind of do whatever they want, and it just became about art. Ballroom doesn't have that, and the main reason ballroom doesn't have that is because physics is required. There is math that has to be done when two people's bodies and spines have to move across the floor with one another without disrupting each other. So it's easy for someone to combine hip hop in with contemporary, or contemporary within ballet, or any of those things, whereas it's not easy to incorporate ballroom into those other styles. And even when you see hip hop, other styles trying to incorporate ballroom moves, it doesn't look as good. It's like, just keep doing hip hop stuff. It's better. And the same thing kind of happens in ballroom. They try to change up ballroom and add a little hip hop.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, very rarely are people able to actually pull that off on the comp floor.
Right.
It can be done, sure, but it's
I did
beautiful.
But I did applaud the creativity, because in any innovation, there's always that person that sits there and goes, "It can't be done because of this." You know? So I would almost have to disagree, because there's always been that person that goes, "I don't think you can." And there's been that one goofball that goes, "I'm going to try it anyway." So it's like,
they changed the world. Absolutely.
And it changed the world. So
I'm not against breaking the rules, but it's only after you understand them. And
I agree with that. Yes.
Back to that, you know, it's like ballroom dancers, because you require another person, it takes so long to get good enough that what you're doing is entertaining. Individual dancers can start. I can have a student learn hip hop for the first time this week, and by the end of the week, if they work hard enough, they can have something that's entertaining enough for everyone to watch. That cannot happen in ballroom. It will look like my parents dancing. Who wants to do that? You know what I mean? So it's just such a different ball game. But I do agree, there needs to be an innovative approach at where ballroom's future, not just industry and business wise, but physically athletic, you know, all of the movement wise, is going to go. Problem number one there is that we aren't all on the same page already. People disagree about what needs to be done, and more important than that, no one's really clearly labeled what needs to be done. Like, what are we judging physically in your body at every moment? That's not really there. Hip hop gets around that because they don't have any other body to move around to disrupt. They can do anything in the moment, and it can be cool. And also they get to incorporate music. They don't just dance randomly to a tempo that they don't know what the song is going to be. They pick out a song and they choreograph movement that hits with that song. So all of these things, entertainment value-wise, come across big time. Ballroom is a sport. It's not a show. in my opinion. So if it's going to be watched, it's going to be watched like a sport. Rather than.
And we've answered the question, you know, because the last question was, where do we see it going? You know, once we've got through the tipping point, how do we keep it interesting and where do we see it going? We've kind of answered that one. I will leave with my final argument is I almost disagree about the hip hop and break dancing because they're doing it with partners now. So a lot of the routines are with partners where they have to still apply the same thing. Breakdancing it used to be when it's in its roots, it's been around for a long time. I think the 70s, it's been around. So it's been around for a long time and it's evolved. How they move their body is still science because they still study how to do it. They do have rules. When they compete or they do b-boy battles, they don't pick the song. The song is picked for them. So
yeah, but b-boy's roots is like totally not structured at all. They didn't. Their b-boy actions are taught like tricks, position, not transitioning through these positions. Sure, the better the teacher you get, the better it's taught. But
right.
I think of B-boy is, and also it was, they're just not competed the same way. They're competed by an audience judge. You know what I mean?
No one can be competed. No one's competing like dance sport, but there are similarities. There are rules and there are steps. There's up rocking. There's the floor work. They do have things that they have standards on that people think, well, they're just doing that freely. No, they're not. Just like we can look at each step in a ballroom thing and go, oh, well, that's a New Yorker. Well, that's a lockstep. They can look at that and go, well, I forget what they call it, but they have all these like, you know, the wind kicks and stuff like that. So they have all those things that they can name that they have to do a certain way. Now they're doing things with partners. So now it's like, you know, like I said, hip hop's different than b-boying because b-boying you are by yourself most times or with a squad. But with hip hop, you know, they're dancing with each other now and they're being judged on technicalities and rules. So I think there's some similarities, but I think that, like you said, we have tried to incorporate some things like in Latin, like, you know, doing the wave and the tick and stuff like that. And I applauded it. I was like, yes.
So if you can do it, if you can make it not disrupt the movement on the floor with your partner, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see hip hop as they do more and more partner work, because mostly what I see from hip hop even still is it's group work. It's not so much one-on-one partner. But there are some routines in hip hop where there's a guy and a girl and they do multiple couple routines and they're known for it and they go to World of Dance and compete that. And there's also some guy routines that are awesome, girl, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you do have more
different, but it will be curious to see as they invest more time in the partnering, how their partnering dance,
how that goes.
And maybe we'll pick up stuff from them, and I'm sure they'll pick up stuff from us as well. But
so we both agree that we need to innovate, otherwise, you know, like I said, dance will always be here, but I think we need to kick it up to constantly draw in the younger crowd to keep it going, you know. Draw in those young, as far as like getting them in the industry, because once they like it, maybe they become professionals, and then we have more great professionals. Then we have someone that has a diverse background of like dancing and goes, well, I can combine these two, you know. So, and we've got some great innovators. I mean, the Tony Merediths of the world, Eugene Castleman's, like, that I've actually got to deal with before, and like I'm like going, oh my God, you know, like, how did he come up with that? You know, we've got those here, but as we're talking about the future now, you know, how do we keep people interested? Because I'm kind of tired of Dance with the Stars. That's my opinion. I'm kind of tired of it's cheesy at this point, you know. When it was good in the first couple of seasons, I'm like, yes, this is great. Now I think it's reaching, because it's like, are people not interested in is the mainstream not interested anymore? That's the question. And that's the topic we've been discussing. Are they not interested anymore? And how's that bode for the future of ballroom dancing? Will we go back to just being what we were before, which was successful, but not where it is right now, where it supports, where it supports like thousands of instructors across the nation, across the world, you know, especially across the nation. You know, can it support that now? Or will it go back to the creme de la creme?
I think Dancing with the Stars will continue to bring in the level-headed people who are just like, these are just fun people dancing, and that would be fun. I'd like to go and try that. But it definitely can hurt, I guess, in the sense that, you know, the first season it was like, oh, Emmett Smith dances. Hell yeah, it's cool to dance. I want to dance. Whereas now Carol Baskin's dancing and you're like, oh, it's weird to dance. You don't want to be one of those people. It can't have that effect for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to watch it. Yeah, people are going to watch it, but the question is, are they watching it for the dancing and going, I want to try that, or they're watching because they want to see the drama like any other reality?
Right.
Have we become a reality show versus a promotion of dance? You know, has that what that show become? You know,
for sure.
Whereas you got the world of dances and stuff like that. I hope they keep going because they are promoting dance, and whatever dance you do, bring it. I love
for
that.
sure. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I like all those people seem to be very much invested in the dance itself, not in putting on a show for people.
Yep.
So I like
awesome.
That. But yeah, no, this was good. I think it's a good topic. If anyone out there has thoughts they want to share on some of the things we said, like I mentioned before, give us a comment. Tell us what you think. We're curious to hear. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you, Michael, as always.
Absolutely. You know, we've all got opinions, and these are just our opinions. If you've got your own opinions and you agree or disagree, or you want to call BS on us, comment. Let's talk about it.
That's really what we need. More people talking.
Yeah, let's talk.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.